Hello, everyone, and welcome to week number 2 of the NECC Overwatch action here for Waynesburg University, taking on Wilkes University Blue here tonight. And we've got another exciting best of 5 for you. Before we get into all that action, we've actually got a student from PIEA filling in here tonight and getting some time on screen. Mitwagon, how are we feeling tonight, my friend?
Good, feeling good. Excited to be in the casting booth and not just being the one playing today. So it's exciting. Excited to be here.
Well, we're certainly glad to have you here in this best of 5 again. So far, both of these teams are 1-0 throughout the regular season here. I know we're going to be starting off on Lijiang Tower, which is a very popular map amongst many of the teams here.
Yeah, I mean, these are always exciting because you see a lot of these sim comps on Lijiang Tower. You see some of those weird, like those speed comps, really fast paced. You see a lot of Diva. You see these really cool overtimes with the portals and everything. And you see always the cool Lucio rollouts. So it's a fun map. I'm excited to see what these teams got.
Well, before we get into it, I want to remind everybody we do have a Land of Steel coming up here on Saturday, October 18th. It is free for everybody to get in, so all you got to do is show up. The doors open at 8 a.m. Eastern, and that's going to run from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. as well, and that's going to be down at the UPMC Events Center. You can check out a little bit more about that out at TECesports.com/Land of Steel, much like you see on your screen there. We've got, I think I saw Mario Kart, Rocket League, all kinds of stuff going on throughout the day there. So make sure you head on down. And I know I believe I'm going to be there as well. So hopefully I'll get to see some of you in person.
Yeah, those LAN events, those are big. Those are huge to attend. I love seeing the people there competing in them, especially. It's a different environment competing in LAN. You get to see your opponents. You get to feel the energy. They're a great time. So we hope to see you there.
Yeah, that atmosphere at the LAN is always unmatched. But we talked about it, Lijiang Tower going to be that first one. And although there have been some metas that have shifted kind of back and forth, still kind of somewhat at this collegiate level, we see a lot of times still kind of leading with that comfortability pick, not always going for that meta. And so I know we've seen a lot of Ramatra from Gavs here recently, Jordan on the Reaper or the Genji, and so I do expect to see some of that as well. I think Fell rocks the Juno, so I'm kind of expecting to see similar compositions to start out here.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be interesting with the Ram nerfs to his block and stuff that came this season. It gets tougher and tougher to run those comfort picks, especially when things like that become meta. It's great, but then they get nerfed into the ground, and then, man, what do you do? If you're stuck on that comfort pick and it's just getting nerfed and nerfed and nerfed, it gets tough to win. But, I mean, these teams, they can certainly pull it out. If they've got the experience, then as long as they work as a team, then comp really doesn't matter as much as you think it does.
Are we rocking a Mercy shirt over there? As I see the support has arrived.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely love it. Got the Overwatch merch on here too tonight. Now, is there anybody that you're hoping to see? Is there a favorite character of yours that you enjoy playing or maybe that you want to see out on the battlefield today?
Oh man, I'm a support player, so I'm a sucker for a good bat brig. That's my personal favorite. I love those two characters. But in Lijiang, the Lucio pick is king, in my opinion. So I'm hoping we see a Lucio Reddit rollout. That would be a dream come true. I don't think we're gonna see it, but man, would it be special.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of these sub maps where you're able to kind of find some early boops or push them off the map here. Gavs potentially with Orisa around this center or near the bridge area as well, if you can get that quicker of a rollout. And a lot of times, specifically on this map, we will see Jordan here pop that teleporter, immediately change back to the Reaper or Genji and look for that rollout. So Quasar, she is on the Kariko here as well as Fell onto the Juno. Composition pretty much what we're used to seeing. Again, I think Gavs kind of shifts around between that Ramatra and now maybe the Orisa here as well. So on the other side of things, though, Bastion, I'm a big fan of. We've got the Roadhog here for Brox as well. We'll have to see how it plays out.
Yeah, these Bastion picks, Bastion casts Hog, that's a lot of damage. You can take advantage of the map. Comp here, they decide to go around the other way, not take that main bridge, not taking the chance. I like the start here personally, trying to take advantage of that Bastion turret. Let's see what they can do.
Yeah, Jordan not swapping away here as well from the Symmetra, so continuing to control the point. They've got it locked down. 4-0 contention comes in, and Waynesburg will unlock it early. They'll begin to build some percentage. Gas gets a little bit low here, but they're navigating around this open corridor very nicely here. Now the pressure forward. Nobody has fallen yet, but they continue to have a slugfest.
Man, this is so tough. They capped this point early. You've got to find a pick early. If you are Wilkes, you've got to find something. As they find the Juno here, you've got to start making progress towards this point. But that's huge. The Roadhog falls.
Without that tank in the front line, most of the time you have to fall back and look to regroup. You don't want to risk staggering out here and making your job even more difficult. But Jordan smells blood. It looks like he was going to go in momentarily, but they are going to just keep playing wise here. 40% on the board and continuing to stack it up.
This is so smart. I love this play here as they contest on their own terms here. The Kitsune in the hallway. I mean, this is just a bloodbath right now for this hallway. They cannot push through this whatsoever. Just so much damage to that Kitsune, and time is ticking. Already 55%. Kills are not the Bastion ult coming out, but this is just great for Waynesburg. This is exactly what you want to see.
Absolutely controlling the map here. They've pressured up very far. They've taken great space, but they're using these tight corridors, these small openings to funnel this team in to continue to capitalize. And Quasar finding a pick on Delindy. Blue Hound will get a piece of the pie here as well. And now the domino effect in full effect here is Waynesburg will topple them 80%. And really, unless Wilkes hurry, probably only one more fight territory.
Yeah, they've got one left, but it's not time to panic yet. Look at those ults. They've got 3. Juno is a strong ult to counter, but this is tough to hold on to this point. If they get a nice contest here, this can flip really fast.
Let's see if they can flip it. You talked about all the ultimates. We see Brox with the whole hog there as well. Could potentially push him off the point. The overtime fuse is lit, but unfortunately Mega goes down without the Cassidy. It gets tough because Brox falls as well. Everybody pushed off the side, and Waynesburg will take the first sub map here.
Yeah, unfortunately, wasn't able to get a clean contest there. Had to sacrifice the Cass, who had an ultimate to get that touch there, and just the hog popped ult, but was just getting pushed by that Orisa. Wasn't enough. A clean 100-0 on that first map.
Well, I'm a big Bastion fan. I was a Bastion main for a very long time, so we'll see if Houdini maybe has some tricks up his sleeve. They need a rabbit out of the hat here, though, because if they don't win this one, they'll find themselves down by 1 in this best of 5. Now, if you have to take a positive away from losing a map, at least you get to decide where we go next. It's often King's Row, but I don't want to get ahead of myself here. Wilkes needing to fight back now.
With these control maps, you got to remember that they can seem one-sided, but they can flip in an instant. This is a new map. You got to treat it as a new game. Nothing carries over. This is a fresh start for both of these teams as they teleport straight to point. The same strategy. Just dominate this point. It worked well for them last time. They're going for it again. This Winston comp is going to be tough to try and get through this Orisa, but if they can get over her head, it's going to be easy pickings on that backline.
Orisa trying to pay attention to that Winston here momentarily, pushes into the point and immediately drops the shield. Jordan finds the first, but Houdini drops Gavs as well. There's no tanks left standing on the battlefield, but Quasar, the support role, putting out damage here as well. Mega Loots will find a pick. It's Plaid Stripes in the kill feed as Jordan finds the trade back on the Mega, and we got ourselves a game of tug of war.
Just back and forth. Oh no, the Symmetra here gets caught out in the middle of the open. Easy punish for the Winston pick here. This is where you start to see that Winston pick come in handy, being able to jump on that ill positioning and just really take advantage of it. They're down in this fight right here. Has to pop gold to sustain through this bubble, but here comes the Bastion turret. Gets saved by the Kitsune right here. This, excuse me, not the Kitsune, the Kiriko, but this is getting tough. Houdini finding a kill, finding that rabbit. It's looking tough here for Waynesburg. They finally got this point flipped against them. How are they going to be able to push towards this?
See how they can react here. It's a great response from Wilkes, especially after being down 1 in the series, and you just see all red in that kill feed. Waynesburg will fall away here, but plenty of time on the clock. Wilkes looks to tie it up as they get closer to 30%. Waynesburg, they have an opportunity to take a deep breath, reset as a whole. They're getting close to some of those ultimates, but right now, Wilkes still kind of controlling the ult economy in this one.
Yeah, Wilkes has got all the advantages in the world right here. This is their point to win. They've just got to do what was done to them and sustain through this point. Use their ults wisely as the Bastion ult comes out here. Maybe it can find a pick. Normally not terribly valuable, but they initiate here with the Kiriko ult. They don't have many ults to back that up. Wilkes has an easy chance to respond here. The Bastion nearly falling and falls. This is a huge opportunity for Waynesburg.
Great pick here from Gavs and crew. Jordan looks to take out the lamp and finds Lindy just behind it. Gavs will find Mega Loots, and this time it's Waynesburg with a domino effect. Riz will get a compilation prize on the way out, but unfortunately, I don't know if it's going to be enough here. Continuing to dance around, looking to buy up some time, but Waynesburg has already captured this point, so we will see them wisely fall back, look to reset. Brock's a quick shift towards Zarya here as well.
I like the swap here. I like just trying to mix it up. Don't let them get familiar with what you're doing. In tight games like these, the element of surprise is all you need sometimes. They're going to try and break it out here.
Well, we'll see if they can break it out. Zarya can be a good counter for this Orisa as well, but the Terra Surge and the Death Blossom blooms into a triple as Mega Loot's able to find two of their own and swap to the Sojourn, finding value, but now Blue Hound coming in, raining down death and destruction. Waynesburg will hold on to the point, and they'll regain the lead once more.
As flashy as that play was, that almost flipped against them. Both the Orisa and the Reaper fell during that play. That was close to going the other way, but they were able to secure it here with that clutch Zarya kill. No bubbles on this Zarya here, and everyone knows it. It's being screamed through those headsets, and here come the ultimates.
They try to punish when the bubbles are down, and Blue Hound with a railgun, not able to find one, takes out the lamp, but it's Mega Loot Bags with a 2K of their own, and Wilkes trying to fight back in this one. Zarya dancing around with that beam. Orisa trying to pressure in, but it is Waynesburg that falls here. They are going to get to 99%, and for Waynesburg, they just have to win one more fight.
Yeah, Wilkes here, you're on your last legs, but you do have the ult advantage, at least for the moment. You gotta initiate fast, and you gotta use that ult advantage. This Reaper's gotta get out of trouble, as he does, and this is scary. Both Kirikos have Kitsune now. It is dead even, except the ultimates are starting to pile on for Wilkes, and here they come. The Sojourn ult, they've just gotta hide. The time is ticking, but Sojourn falls to the Orisa. This is huge.
What a great pick here from Gavs to pick up on the Mega as they pop their ult. The Kitsune rush comes out in both directions. Jordan able to find Lindy with the shot into the body. He's now behind Zarya, who goes down. Gavs able to find the pick. They pressure on. The overtime fuse is lit, but it will dwindle away as Waynesburg have been the janitors. They come in to clean up. There's one more to go, and Waynesburg has done it.
Wow. I mean, what a close point there. You could see the momentum flip back and forth, and that one nothing like the first map, but still not enough from Wilkes to overpower Waynesburg there. They felt in control in that first map, but I mean, we could see some serious life coming out of Wilkes. This is going to be a close set.
We're going to take a look at the play of the game here on that beach bum skin, or maybe not. Psych. Tricked you. Joke's on you. We know it was a great one because Blue Hound was in it. So just know that it was a phenomenal play, but a great job here by Waynesburg. I will say that we did see some great adjustments from Wilkes in that second sub map there as well. They started to get some traction. They got to 99%, but maybe just one of those too little, too late type circumstances. But I always say, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of control. I tend to play better on the payload style maps just because that's what I like. And sometimes that's a factor for these students as well. So Wilkes will get to decide where we go. A lot of times it is Kings Row. Do you think there's a chance that maybe we see something else here, Midwagon?
I think there's a chance. We saw the Winston come out here. We might see a more dive-heavy hybrid map. We might see something like Numbani. We might see something a little bit more interesting, but I can't say that I also don't love Kings Row. I love Kings Row. In almost all of my matches, I was also guilty of just choosing Kings Row. You're down one. It's the comfort pick, and I mean, these teams, we know they're comfort pickers, so this might be the play.
You know, it's nice to have that comfort pick, but at the same time, the other team then gets to, you know, choose whether they want to attack or defend. And that's something that we always kind of debate in the casting booth, because I know statistically a lot of times the attacking teams that start off do better. But from what every time I see on screen, I love starting out on that defensive side, getting an early stop, knowing just how far you have to push. How do you feel about that?
For me, whenever we were up as a team, I would always go defense, especially in a close game like that. Now, if you crush the team that you just played, you want to go offense and keep the tempo high. But for them, The tempo wasn't terribly high. It just felt slow and unstoppable. So I think defense is the way to go. Just keep hammering them down and just keep morale low and hopefully just get a nice, easy stop after that point capture. I mean, you'd love to see no point capture, but with teams of this caliber, it feels sort of inevitable. So an early stop there into that payload progress could be huge for setting that tempo. And if you are on attack with the defenders on low morale, man, it just feels like you're guaranteed to win.
Yeah, and see, I always like hearing how everybody feels about it. I know me and Llama cast a lot together, and we're usually kind of opposites, right? He wants to attack first, I want to defend first. So I always like getting other people's input. But you make some very valid points. So shouldn't be too much longer before we get to decide where we go and who will be attacking or defending. But yeah, I mean, Kings Row has been kind of that popular one, so I would expect to see it. I was kind of surprised that we saw Jordan stay on that Symmetra for so long, but it was working in that first series, comfortable swapping to the Reaper there as well. But at the end of the day, they get the job done, 100-99. It was close in that last one, but they are now in that driver's seat, up one here in the series of the best of five.
Yeah, being in that driver's seat is huge. And going back to that Symmetra pick, honestly, that doesn't surprise me. It might have just been propaganda of why they stayed on Symmetra for so long, because everyone says, oh, Symmetra's great on that map. Symmetra's great on that map. I said Symmetra's great on that map. It's just the truth. Like, especially on that point, she can feel dominant with those turrets. You have so many things to look at, so many directions to turn. You're in that cage or the octagon. You know, if you're not the team who has that point, and you have a Symmetra barreling towards your tank, those supports are in distress. The DPS are trying to take him out, and it's like just chaos all around. So I don't blame him, and the swap there back to the Reaper after that point makes some good sense. So I think it was the right call because, I mean, it worked out well, as you saw.
Yeah, and honestly, I like the fact that we saw Brock's go to the Zarya. Again, I think that can be something that can be useful in combating some of those Orissas or even maybe that Sojourn in there, if you're able to use that bubble to a T. But, you can't just pop it and run straight in. You do have to use some of those objectives in the way to kind of help mitigate some of that, allow your team to be able to heal you and kind of everybody to fill that role. But I wouldn't be surprised if we do see maybe Quasar switch to that Ramatra if Wilkes comes back out with his Zarya.
Yeah, I think it's certainly possible. That Zarya, it's tough to play Zarya at a high level because you know that as soon as you see that Zarya swap, the other team's comms are nothing but counting bubbles. Like, along with everything else, you are just one bubble, two bubbles, go, 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 go. It's instant. I've seen it happen so many times before. I've been a part of it. As a bubble counter myself, it is all just one and then two, and then everyone, just every ability in the book, just full steam ahead. If they can counteract that, though, with some good Suzu play, some good lamp play, it gets really scary because suddenly you just fed those bubbles trying to get rid of them so fast. You have a 100 charge Orisa staring, or 100 charge Zarya staring down that Orisa. And if she doesn't have gold, she's toast. She is just warm butter.
Yeah, ability cooldown management can be big with her, but you're right. When that beam is fully charged, look out. I know that can be a frustrating thing in some of the pubs when your team just always shoots the bubble but never finishes the job. You're like, please, who is charging the Zarya up? So, but yeah, it'll be interesting. Again, I like the fact that we see Wilkes still comfortable being able to find some swaps in there to look for something that will work. And that's something that I'm always looking for because we talk about it, right? Some of these students might be newer into the collegiate scene as well. Those comfortability picks can be a big factor, but being willing to step outside of that comfort zone can go a long way for some of these teams.
Yeah, I think now that it's finally week 2, you get past that week 1 mile marker. You finally got your first team play and your first win in the books for both of these teams. Getting that first win is important for that morale, and you feel like, all right, we've got it. What we practiced during the summer, what we practiced during the fall, it came together. We were clicking. Maybe you pick some of those comfort picks that were on during the summer and during the fall, and now you finally get to expand off of that during this week 2. Ooh, we're on Servasa. Now, Servasa is interesting because you don't see Flashpoint very often when you're practicing. It's tough to force your way into Flashpoint. So this could be interesting. This is certainly not a comfort pick by any means. This is not what we were expecting. So I'm excited to see how this one goes.
I'm not the biggest fan of Flashpoint. Like I said, I tend to like the payloads, but I always think that this is a wise decision from schools for a couple reasons. One, if it's something that you practice a lot, but other teams don't, it might be that extra oomph to kind of get you over the top and find a win. But more importantly, it kind of eliminates the luxury that winning team has. There's no defense to pick. There's no offense to pick. You're just simply at an equal playing ground, if you will. And so it kind of nullifies that advantage of being able to start out on defense, things like that. So I think there are some benefits to it, but Wilkes is going to have to show that that benefit is going to work for them, and they need a dub here to tie the series up.
Yeah, and I think even if you don't have as much experience, I think that both teams are really happy about this right now because the same comps that can work on those control maps, like the Lijiang Tower that we just saw, can still be really effective on these Flashpoint maps. So even if you don't know this map like the back of your hand, like you do some of those other maps, it might just be enough to run that same comp back and just try and do the same thing you did last time. I mean, it was successful before, and again, these maps are really similar. So I could see it going back in Wayne's favor here with this map pick.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Waynesburg won their championship last year. They're a team that plays very, very well together. They did have a couple more members kind of, I think, maybe graduating. We talked about Sundance, I think, being one of them. Solinator, I think, another. And so the fact that they really, it seems like they haven't missed a beat, and they continue to play very, very well together. So far, they've had some early success. We're only into week 2, but after this week, only one of these two teams can remain undefeated. We will see some composition changes come out from both teams here. Gav on that Ramatra, Bluehound on the Cassidy, Jordan to the Genji, Quasar on a Moira, one of the few supports that I play, so a little bias there as well, but some swaps on the other side of things here as well, Mitwagon.
Yeah, the Reinhardt pick and the Junkrat pick. Personally, I love the Junkrat pick here. You don't see it very much at these higher levels. I think this Junkrat is going to catch him off guard hard, and I think they might get a free team fight or two out of this. They might just get spammed up because they aren't ready. I trust their ability to adapt, but sometimes you just aren't ready. We've got to see how this goes. As this engagement starts here, pressuring this Reinhardt is smart. I mean, you've got the tank versus take advantage here. This Ramatra shouldn't struggle with this Reinhardt, but I mean, it could always go either way. This Junkrat doing his due diligence, just spamming down this choke as he does, just trying to make it super difficult just to push through here. Wilkes now trying to find this point advantage early as the Reaper falls, but they do capture the point, but at what cost here? As this team fight starts to devolve, it's looking in a double fire strike there, turns the tides. It's dead even right now, this Junkrat in peril, but the Reinhardt able to snuff out this Genji. Same with the Cassidy. It is just a bloodbath back and forth. It is just support versus support on this point right now. Wilkes just gaining some key advantages here. Juno coming out on top in that support versus support, but getting chased out by this Reaper. Wilkes stays on top in a bloodbath.
Yeah, that was back and forth there, but in Flashpoint, these points go a little bit quicker. You'll notice that Wilkes is already above 50%. Now, you need 3 of the 5 points to get a dub here, but Brox has been having a field day. The hammer reigns supreme, able to find Fell. The support goes down. Jordan onto Houdini, but immediately traded out. Brox, Mega, both go down here, and Waynesburg looking to stand tall in the final moments of the first point.
We see the same thing again, an ultimate investment there from Wilkes, and just back and forth. The Genji takes out one of their back line, but Reinhardt able to respond with 2 kills, and pinning that Genji really is helping just significantly here, just really helping, just being the glue of this team right now. He's initiating, he's the one setting the tempo. He's just got to be a crusader and just help his backline control this team movement here, and this could certainly flip back to Wilkes. They've only got one team fight to win as they take the high ground here and get a huge early kill on this Ramatra here. As the ultimates start to fly, Genji gets one but trades out. The Cassidy popping his ultimate gets countered by the Ryan shield, but Ryan dangerously low, pins away. Here comes the Moira ult though, all damage. Is it going to be enough? Cassidy falls down, Genji running back. Moira still with his ultimate falls. Wilkes is in control and takes point number 1.
Well, it was a good battle back and forth, and we saw Waynesburg get a little bit of footing, but too late in this one. Wilkes gets that first point on the board, which is I mean, what they were hoping for, this is their map pick, and they're showing a lot of success here. I think off the back of Brock's on this Rhine has been a big difference maker. You take a look at the ult economy here, and it drastically favors Wilkes as well. These next couple battles could be tough ones, and now they're going to be even tougher because they lose Quasar a bit early.
Here comes the Reaper in the back line here, just causing problems from all angles. This is the perfect approach to take on a 4v5 here. Don't overinvest, only popping one ultimate here. One falls, but I mean, at this point, I think this is a foregone conclusion. Doing their best just to clean up this team fight. Don't overinvest in these ultimates, and they are in the driver's seat confidently. I think the unsung hero right now is this Junkrat, this Houdini pick. This madman on the Junkrat, I think, is really helping just to quell this Ramatra, this ill-advised tank pick here. This could be tough for Reinhardt sometimes, but I mean, these two DPS are making it look easy.
I mean, Junkrat is always just annoying to deal with, and now with the Riptire coming out in full effect, he finds another. They combine for 4, and Wilkes having a field day. They'll clean it up as Jordan does go down. They only expend 2 ults in that battle, 1 in the previous one, so they still have 2 on deck, ready to flex, and more than 50% here on this second point. So Saravasa not going the way of Waynesburg just yet. The Yellow Jackets are going to have to bring the heat.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw it there. Just a purple flash of that annihilation for Ramatra. I'm assuming he was just looking to pop that ultimate and then move on to Orisa here, because that Ramatra pick was just not working. As they look to find their footing here, they are outgunned, but trying to make up for it with this Juno ult. A huge anti comes out. The anti pops, or the nano pops, excuse me. It is bloodshed, but not soon enough. Wilkes finding this next point. I mean, at this point, the team fight is just extra credit.
Yeah, honestly, I like that we see Bluehound going to this Bastion, maybe trying to eliminate this Rhine shield as quickly as possible. So we'll see if this is something that can potentially help them out a little bit, but they honestly don't have a ton of time. We're now to that final point for Wilkes. Waynesburg would need a reverse sweep here on Flashpoint to bring this one back. And again, Wilkes just doing a great job of controlling the ult economy. We see the ult here from Brox. He does get credit with the pick onto the support. Jordan finds Houdini, but not for long. Goes down to Mega on some Reaper on Reaper violence. Bluehound will put a hailstorm of bullets downfield, but still just not quite enough.
Yeah, I mean, you see, I like this approach from Waynesburg, is just trying to separate yourself as much as possible. This longer range, this Bastion, this Orisa, just trying to build up some passive ult charge here and just try and find your footing again. It starts with one team fight, and they've got to find it, but already down 1 due to a clutch fire strike here. This is gonna get scary, because at this point, you're looking at the timer and you're sweating. But I mean, this sweat is coming out in pure power right now. They're looking for a push, but here come the ultimates from Wilkes. Finding advantage after advantage. They only invest 2, and they find a clutch win to nearly secure this thing.
It feels like Wilkes has at least 2 ults at almost at any given point. They've done a great job of staggering them out, using them to control the situation and win these battles. They've gotten a ton of value from them. Waynesburg will have 4 now to use, but they're going to have to use at least a couple of them here, because again, time ticking away, just 30% to go for Wilkes to close it out.
Waynesburg here with 5 ultimates, making the most out of all of them. Look at them go. Blue is flooding the kill count, and this is exactly what you needed for Waynesburg. It starts with 1, and they found it exactly when they needed to. They've come back from harder, and I know they have, so I'm sure that they still got some fight left.
Definitely have some gas in the tank here. They've got at least their footing, right? And now they just got to fight back. So 25% on the board. Unfortunately, that ult economy again favoring Wilkes here, and now we see him beginning to press in. Ryan from behind, though, looks to drop him down the slam, and it's good for 1 as Fell goes down. Quasar the next, no supports, no tank, and Waynesburg in some trouble.
Wow, I mean, they just made it look easy right there. They were at an ultimate disadvantage going to that previous fight, but Waynesburg had to throw everything in the kitchen sink to win that team fight, and they just didn't have enough left. Taking it in dominant fashion there.
Hey, we talked about the tug of war just in the control of the flash alone, but we see it now here in the series as Wilkes does battle back. They tie the series up to 1 apiece. We get to take a look at the play of game right here at the end. As we saw that Ryan power in, find the 2 picks onto the support, the tank to follow, and these flame strikes, you want to talk about great control, great crosshair placement. Ryan was a big game changer, as well as you talked about Houdini on the Junkrat, but for me, Ryan, definitely a big game changer in this one as well.
Yeah, I mean, finding his way through that tough Ramatra matchup, that's difficult. It's tough to do. Reinhardt can feel sometimes too simple to handle a complex Overwatch 2 character, but Reinhardt right there standing the test of time, proving that the Young Bucks cannot push him off the mountain just yet. Finding some clutch shatters, just running that ult economy. Just as soon as he had that shatter, just instantly hammer down on the ground, finding at least one every time, setting the tempo every fight. A huge win.
Well, Waynesburg will get to decide where we go now, and so they are also big fans of Kings Row. We may just see it at some point here tonight, but again, you get the luxury of deciding a comfortable map for you, one that maybe you've dominated on time and time again. So we saw some changes from Waynesburg as well in those compositions, but it seemed like they couldn't really find anything to combat that Rhine and or that Junkrat. So gonna have to think about that here moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, you get some time to think here. You're not really under as much pressure as you were before, in that game. So just being able to take a step back, talk to your team, be like, hey, what went wrong? Why were we being pressured so hard? Why are we not just able to dominate like we did that first match? Those maps can be so similar sometimes, but the result couldn't be more different. What went wrong? What can we do? Now, Wilkes here, they have to answer the question of, do we even swap? That was such a dominant victory that you have to start to consider, is this just your ticket to victory, or did you just catch him off guard?
Yeah, I mean, they get an opportunity to prove that it wasn't a fluke here in map number 3 for Wilkes, as they've found a way to come back into this one. Granted, they were only down by 1, but now all of a sudden this best of 5 basically becomes a best of 3, and it's always nice to be that team that gets to go to match and series point first. So whoever wins this next one certainly is going to be sitting in that driver's seat, feeling a little bit more comfortable, a little bit of that weight or that pressure off the shoulders. So this next one for me is a really big one.
I agree with you. This is certainly the turning point of the set. Right now, it feels dead. Even a dominant win from Wilkes and Waynesburg in this set so far. You saw a little bit of life from each team in both those sets, but it really felt like their map to play in both of those. So are they going to choose right this next time? If they hand themselves a map that they just can't handle, if Wilkes is able to take advantage of Waynesburg's pick here, I mean, at this point, the floodgates will open, and it will just feel unstoppable. Wilkes will feel just over the moon about that. So winning on an opponent's map pick is really the key to victory here. You've got to find one.
Yeah, and it's nice if you win this next one because again, not only do you get to the driver's seat first, do you get 2 opportunities to close it out, but should you drop that following map, then in the 5th and final one, you get to decide where you go for that final destination. So you get to choose your own fate, really. And so, again, always nice to be up in that series, but well. We take a look at the map pick here. Esperanza onto a push map. I am pleasantly shocked a little bit here tonight, Milwagon.
Yeah, I mean, no hybrid, no payload. This feels like sub-game modes of Overwatch. We are expecting our stock standard, our bread and butter here up in the casting booths, and we just aren't finding it. We're expecting that attack versus defense conversation. What should they pick? How does it feel to be in that driver's seat versus you're on the back foot here after a loss? What should you do? Esperanza, I mean, you're just right back at it.
Yeah, well, and again, it's kind of one of those luxury things. Well, at least your opponents don't get to decide whether they want to start out on offense or defense first. So at least it's 1-1. I know that we're going to see a payload at least one time here tonight, but really toying with my emotions, keeping that away from me here as we get ready for Esperanza Wilkes, Waynesburg, head-to-head one more time. And now we're going to take a look at some of these compositions. Sticking with that Rhine doesn't surprise me. Not much changes here for Wilkes other than that Soldier or that Zen. On the other side of things, Gav, that Ramatra Jordan on this Genji to start off. So looking for some similar success in that previous one where it didn't really work out. And I worry a little bit with the Rhine and the Genji. I mean, it seems like they were struggling to break that shield, struggling to kind of get into the background and do something.
Yeah, I mean, this is This is going to be a tough one. We see the Reinhardt come back out here. I like this decision a lot. This Zenyatta is going to be really safe, except from this Genji. This Kiriko's got to do a good job of keeping this Zenyatta safe, but if this Zenyatta's allowed to run wild on this Ramatra, we could see a repeat of what happened last time. He is the catalyst of this equation.
Exactly what they opt to do here. Just a few seconds before the payload, or the push bot rather, will unlock. We see Ramatra dealing damage from a distance. Now to the background, it looks like Genji on the hunt. He got him low, but Mega will be healed up by the support here. So a little bit of a stalemate as Wilkes finds a subtle push in their direction.
I like this approach from Genji here, just looking for whoever he can find out of position here. These comms, so crucial. Going for that Kiriko first, couldn't find it. I like that instead of going for the Zenyatta first, but we're seeing some success on the front lines as well, finding that Junkrat kill, finding the Reinhardt kill, looking for anything from Wilkes here, just looking just to find a kill, you know, make sure this isn't a full team kill, give them something to retreat to, and they're gonna find it. Those 15 meters feeling costly right now.
Jordan Gavs really going to town there, and it was off the play from Gavs there, initiating those first a couple picks and finding that Junkrat as well, who's just been that nuisance, lobbing in those nades from a distance, and can be frustrating, not just in the game physically, but mentally as well. Mega will look to put some bullets down range here. The subtle push continues, and they more than double the lead of Wilkes, so it's been a great return push here from the Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, I like the Roadhog pick here is going to be huge against this. Finding him with no Nemesis for him, but that shield saving his life. Sojourn finding a pick in there. This is going to be tough. I don't personally agree with this Roadhog swap here on the back foot here. This can feel scary, but it can certainly work. You find one hook, and this team fight suddenly in your favor as Genji dives down, finds that soldier pick, finds the ultimate right here, finds one. Can he get two? He gets two. Just absolutely slicing and dicing his way through that back line there. Caught Roadhog just not looking with the blindfold on, and certainly took advantage of it there. And look at those ultimates.
Jordan credited with a triple in all as they find 4 picks as a team. They only use the ult of Jordan as well. So they've got 3 on deck, fell not too far away, and really controlling the pace of Esperanza here momentarily in every department, from the ult economy to the pressure, and everything seems to be aligning now once again for Waynesburg. The Kitsune rush does come out. They'll power forward. Jordan able to find Rise, goes down. Bluehound Gavs, everybody finding picks in quick succession. Lindy, the last standing member, but only for a moment, and the moment is gone. Waynesburg turning that snowball into an avalanche.
Yeah, this is what's scary about push. Once it gets rolling, it's hard to stop it. They have to invest some ults here. Wilkes does. They've got to invest that Trank and the Roadhog ult coming up to try and win this fight, because otherwise it might be lost. The Trank coming out there to counter the Junior ult. I like that decision as they just kind of sit in a bit of a stalemate here. Trank ends. Finally, the team fight can truly begin. The Bastion ult coming out. The Genji diving back in, but the Zenyatta finding a huge kill. Huge Ramatra just pushing in, but gets pushed out by the Roadhog. Says, get out of my back line. Finding some ground here, just trying to show a little bit of life here, fighting back against this push. They stop the snowball. That's huge.
Finally stop it, but it takes the whole hog to get it done, along with that Kitsune rush here. Wilkes, we're looking for an opportunity to respond. Gav still has that Annihilation here, which, I mean, you can't find a more fitting name for it. It can absolutely annihilate the competition. They've got good high ground peppering in from an off angle here as well. Waynesburg stops this push immediately and looks to regain control.
Yeah, you really got to watch out for the Annihilation. That is Weapon X right now as 2 trade out here, down 1 support. I don't know if you want to tank ult right now. This is going to get scary and fast. It is just going to be back and forth. It's every man for himself right now. Team deathmatch, and it looks like Waynesburg is going to come out on top, just swarming that Roadhog at the end, trying to find the Shikiriko kill. They do. Bluehound just cleaning up the mess.
Two supports for Waynesburg doing a great job of keeping everybody topped off. We didn't see too many people get into that danger zone there. We talk about it, Waynesburg. Everybody has a role to fill, and they do it so nicely. Wilkes going to go back to the Winston here. Brock's comfortable on many different tanks and really putting it to work here, but now they've got to pull out all the stops once more. 5 minutes left in this one. Plenty of time, but Waynesburg continues to push. Jordan goes down early. It could be the opening Wilkes needs.
And the Annihilation there just gets completely shut out. A beautiful window there to punish that. I love this for Wilkes right now. This feels like the break they needed. They don't invest too many ultimates. They get that Annihilation. They get the castle out. This could be big. They only invested one. They're finally up in ultimates. They have the leverage right now. Let's see what they can do with it.
Oh, not too far away is Fell. We might just see some 3 alts on 3 alt action. Waynesburg, they've got a nice commanding lead, 126 to just 15. Wilkes is going to start to push this bot, but Waynesburg already regrouped here on the bridge, and with that Kitsune rush coming out, they are looking to take the fight right to the face.
Yeah, avoid it, but they counter with a Kiriko ult of their own. That Waynesburg ult not finding much value, but that castle certainly does. A 3-piece is absolutely gigantic, and they're starting a snowball of their own.
Looking to power back here. We've had a couple tug of wars throughout every one of these games in this series, and Wilkes showing they're not ready to go silently into the night. They continue to fight for. They're almost to that first checkpoint and unlocking here, but again, Waynesburg has given themselves plenty of time. They don't have to do anything crazy here. They just have to reset, look to win a battle, and slow down this momentum.
Yeah, could this just be the little bit of life we see out of the losing team every single game, or could this be something new? This feels different to me after watching those first 2 games. This feels fresh. This feels new. Waynesburg feels like they're in the driver's seat right now. Waynesburg trying to take that momentum back, ulting first, initiating right here, and it falls in their favor. A beautiful Juno ult, and the dominoes fall, stopping that snowball early. They do get the fast respawn. They get that closer respawn, so they're able to re-engage quickly. It's required. We see a little bit of flashiness here from the cast, feeling himself. Got an ultimate here. They certainly flipped this back around in a hurry.
Yeah, and they've still got kind of maintained that double size lead there, 126 to 63. So they do a good job of stopping it early. Winston is looking to throw some fists and bows of his own, going toe to toe here with Jordan on the Cassidy, and now he's looking to shoot from the hip and dip of the whip, the dead eye, the high noon. Will it hit? Holding on for as long as possible, but unfortunately doesn't connect the way he wants to. And in the meantime, Gavs has gone down. Waynesburg has lost their tank, and they might want to think about regrouping.
Yeah, I think that's what that was right there. Jordan is trying to find a last-second pick there. Just try and make sure it's not all is lost for them right now. I agree with that decision, and I can tell you for a fact that during that cast ultimate, through those headsets, there was bloodshed. There was screaming of break the bubble, and it just didn't happen.
We'll see if they can regroup here. They did a good job at slowing down this initial momentum a bit ago, and they've got a couple ults to work with here as well. We're going to see that Kitsune rush come out immediately. No counter all comes in just yet as Gavs finds the first pick. It's an opening here for Waynesburg. Houdini is low, and Houdini will fall to Quasar. Blue Hound picks up on Lindy, and Waynesburg pick it up where they left off.
Yeah, this is big. This is huge for them. I mean, it's starting to look like a back and forth affair, but they still have the lead by a pretty significant margin. But I mean, this is how you see push games go sometimes. They get a huge lead, and then you see the opposing team just whittle it little by little, little by little. And the whole time Waynesburg is like, oh, we've got time, you know, we've got push. And then overtime hits, Wilkes is in the driver's seat. They've suddenly got an ultimate advantage, and they just snowball right through as Cassidy finds a pick right there, finds two, a 2-piece combo here. 3 from that Winston helping out. I mean, this is perfect for Wilkes.
I think Gavs just does a good job. You kind of want to die as quickly as possible there because we're getting down to that low time territory, that 1-2 fight territory. There's only less than about 45 seconds on the clock here. And so Waynesburg has enough ults to win a battle. And for them, they just really got to eat up the time, get down to that 0-second mark, pop the ults, make sure they win the fight, and look to close out Esperanza.
Yeah, this is where the going gets tough. This is where boys become men for Wilkes. They have the ults, they have the firepower. As the Deadeye comes out, This is scary. Barely avoids it, does Winston, and falls to the Bastional. Houdini pulling out some magic there, and a second one. It's just, this is all Wilkes right now, and this is scary for Waynesburg. You've got to find a contest all of a sudden.
Gotta find a way to slow him down. They are getting dangerously close to passing him up. About 20 meters left to go, but we still have that annihilation. Juno, we've got the railgun here from Blue Hound as well. We're gonna see it come out immediately. High Noon the other direction, back and forth. Gabs doesn't find it. Mega able to take the pick. Blue Hound goes down, and Waynesburg might be in some trouble.
Yeah, they got too impatient there with their ultimates. Is it going to cost them? This is looking tough. Winston's still on full HP. They're just dominating the point. He is stalwart right now. And what it looks like, it's going to be enough. Just trying to stop that contest from the Sojourn. And he does. Wilkes, they found their one.
Was a dangerously close one. It looked like Waynesburg controlled the pace of it for the majority of the game, but Wilkes able to battle back at the end of this one. They steal it away in the final moments, and now they are in that driver's seat that we talked about. They only need one more. Waynesburg will need 2 in a row, and this transcendence here from Rise, a big one to keep the team up, and maybe a turning point for Wilkes.
Yeah, like I just said, they found that one win, and I announced it like it was important because it is. That one map just is so huge to find it in that enemy territory. It's not your pick. That's the tough one to find. It really is. It's so hard to go into somebody else's pick. They've got a plan. They are ready for you, and you just walked into an away stadium and you just came out with a win.
Got to be feeling good if you're Wilkes. And again, you only need one more now to close out the series. Waynesburg, neither of these teams suffering a loss yet. So I have no doubt in my mind Waynesburg will look to bounce back in this next one. They'll get an opportunity to find another pick that they might enjoy. But now it's backs against the wall. It's do or die, win or go home, as we like to say. And so they're really going to have to pull out all the stops in this next one. And I feel like they don't need a close win, but they need a very decisive win here to really kind of shift that momentum in their favor.
I agree with you here. Rattling off 2 wins in a row is Wilkes. Right now, I mean, let's not pretend that those games weren't close, because they were close, especially that last game in Esperanza. They were fighting tooth and nail, battled back that whole game. They did not have a single lead except for the first minute and the last 10 seconds. Those were the only times they held a lead. And I mean, even though they only held a lead for that little bit, they feel completely in control right now. You are staring down the barrel of 2 wins right now if you are Waynesburg, and this is scary. Just looking at that number, it feels different. It really does.
Talk about how important that mental fortitude is. You know, it's an equally important aspect of the game, and that's something that Waynesburg has displayed for many seasons and many different titles. So it can be tough to do at times, but you have to have that mental reset. You know, you have to take that loss on the chin and then just forget about it, because you have to focus on the next map that's in front of you. And so no doubt in my mind that Waynesburg will be able to do that, but they have to make sure they solidify these wins. That was a map that I felt like they should have been able to win, and unfortunately it kind of just slipped away in those final moments.
Yeah, I mean, as unlikely as it looked that whole game, we've seen that a lot. I've seen that a lot as a competitor and just as a player of Overwatch, where somebody gets out to that huge lead and they think they've got all the time in the world there, and they're not worried the whole time. And I even said it, and it happened exactly as I said it, is that they start whittling a little more and a little more. And towards the end of that game, they are just taking chunks and chunks and chunks out of that lead. They don't take it all at once. Waynesburg felt in the driver's seat that whole game of, we just have to hold on to our lead, and they just couldn't. That overtime came, and that overtime win, and they could not find the win that they needed. As close as that game was, Wilkes feels perfectly in control right now. You've got to forget about that match if you're Waynesburg, though. You've got to look at it as an objective fact of, hey, we lost that. You know, we lost that game. We lost the previous game to that. You've got to think about those comps, and you just have to be ready for what comes next.
Like we're going to head to Junkertown. We had a crazy game on Junkertown last week. And so this doesn't surprise me at all. It was definitely a nail biter that came down to the wire. It was our decider and game number 5 OT as well. So Waynesburg's going to head us or take us back toward Junkertown. They need this game now to extend the longevity of this series if they want an opportunity to close it out and remain undefeated. I will say Brock's on the other side of things has been very comfortable making multiple different changes, and so it seems like he's constantly trying to counter pick, and I want to see maybe a little bit more of that from Waynesburg. If he's making those swaps, you know, if they are having issue, don't be afraid to swap a little bit sooner.
Yeah, that might be evidence of a new player there for Waynesburg, or that just might be a bit of lack of experience there. You know, they've got their picks that they feel comfortable on, and they're not really willing to swap. This pick of Junkertown, this surprises me, honestly. We have seen the Winston, and this tells me that Waynesburg has a plan for that Winston. I'm excited to see the plan, because right now this Winston feels comfortable, and it feels alive and kicking. I'm excited to see what they've got in store for this Winston.
Yeah, like I said, last week it came down to a game 5 where we ended up in Junkertown. That Junkertown went to overtime, and the final stand that Waynesburg made on this map was an absolute cinema. So we don't often see a ton of Junkertown. I don't even think it was their map pick. I can't quite remember, but nonetheless, they played very, very well on it. They're here this time. And, you know, maybe ready to have a similar outcome, but they have to find a win here. There's no opportunities for minor mistakes now because, as you had mentioned, Wilkes, they got 2 in a row, and they just need 1 more.
Yeah, I think this is the do or die moment. That first fight or two is really going to determine, especially that first round, exactly how it's going to go. If they've got an answer for this Winston, especially on that first point there, if you've ever played on Junkertown, you know that as soon as you lose that high ground on defense, if that's what they so choose or have picked for them by Wilkes here, it gets scary fast because you maybe have 1 more contest. But it's terrifying to lose that, and you've got to stop that Winston, because if you let that Winston just hop from high ground to high ground, that's your only advantage as a defender on this map. If you let that advantage slip, it can feel like all offense on this map.
Different obstacles to navigate, especially through Junkertown here. A lot of different high grounds, a lot of verticality on this map on multiple different points as they take their windy turns through here, but some beautiful scenery. And again, a shout out to Nick, not only for producing the show, but the wonderful observing as we get the drone flyby footage here of the aesthetic scenery of Junkertown. I always like it. It's got that Mad Max style feel. So a map that I've always enjoyed in the past. But Waynesburg, the compositions here, not too much of a change. Quasar onto the Mercy, maybe looking for some reses to eliminate some of those long walkbacks. Jordan on the Hanzo here as well. But they are going to be dealing not only with that Winston, but this Junkrat as well.
Now, the Junkrat here is interesting to me because Junkrat has always struggled with shooting upwards. Trying to pressure that high ground is tough for Junkrat when he doesn't have that high ground advantage himself. He's used to raining down from above, but now he's got to do it from below. Can he do it? I've got full belief that he can, but it's certainly harder just from a character perspective. The Winston pick is no surprise here, and this looks to be their answer. Just point and click adventure for the Hanzo here, finding it early and just setting the tempo right. Just like I said, this is key.
Jordan's been so good on so many different characters, and it's funny, I watched him grow up playing Rocket League. His school didn't even offer Overwatch or Valorant, and now he's been dominating in both here for Waynesburg. It's another nasty snipe from Jordan, and these picks are great as they find another combined with Gavs up top. Winston finds him low, but the support doing such a great job here in Waynesburg. Right back to firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, don't let those supports go unnoticed because they are key, especially that Mercy swap. You're starting to understand what it's for, is because if you look at this comp, this Hanzo, this Soj, this Mercy especially, they are willing to get comfortable on this high ground. They are not planning to leave anytime soon, but apparently their Mercy is, because down they go. Not willing to give it up so easy though. They rattle off 3 straight, flipping this team fight back in their favor. It's just clean up crew. Don't lose another and let that Mercy get back.
See, that's about as scary as it gets. You lose your Mercy first. It's such a long walk back here, but Waynesburg, they put faith in each other. and they come up the victor here in this battle. It allows Mercy to get back in time. Brock's now onto the Sigma, who we've had seen quite a bit of success on a map like Junkertown as well, and Brock's no stranger to the swaps. Lindy finds Jordan, a big res coming in from Quasar.
A huge anti, but a bigger res. Let's see who comes out on top in here. That res is a valuable resource. Burning it quick can sometimes be your downfall because you don't have it for this Ramatra. Getting pressured hard, but is able to get saved by these supports. A great job by them. Trying to stabilize this team fight. That cast needed a little more stabilizing. He goes down, but so does the Ramatra. Mercy might have this res back. This is volatile. Jordan breaking this team fight wide open back in Waynesburg's favor. If you lose one here on this first point, you basically lose first point. So this is huge. Just holding them hostage here on this first point. This feels unstoppable right now. Jordan on this Hanzo, really just controlling the game.
Yeah, not only did he find a triple there, but he found Mega in the middle of that Deadeye, so eliminates that ult from the play. Bloomhound has one to work with as well. Rise dangerously low, gonna pop out the Coalescence, trying to keep Brox up, but Gavs, the fisticuffs, going toe-to-toe, throwing bows is just too much. Waynesburg looking to stand tall, and Jordan will find another snipe. They've got 3 ultimates, and they are playing just about as flawless as possible here in the opening point.
Yeah, you love to see this right now if you're Waynesburg. If you're a Waynesburg fan, or even if you're a player or what you are cheering right now in your seats. This is exactly what you wanted. You've got that Mercy res. It's got to come out now to save Jordan right there on that Hanzo. They've been clutch with that ultimate cycle too. Instantly, as soon as they get it popping, it's speaking of which, here comes the Sigma ultimate. Huge. Mercy coming in here trying to save the Ramatra with her own ultimate, cannot find it. Junkrat finds a huge kill on this Ramatra here, trying to break this team fight open. Finally gets some momentum under themselves. It looks like they're going to. At this point, it's just cleanup. Can they finish every kill? It looks like they do. This is going to be a huge opportunity for Wilkes. You have to cap right now.
Yeah, they should be able to find this point here. I mean, if Waynesburg opts to contend, they might have risk of staggering, but Gabs is feeling fearless. He's got Mercy at the hip, and now looking to pressure down, maybe popping that Annihilation, and does. Bluehound will find one. Mega, though, 2 big picks, and Quasar going down from the Deadeye.
That's a high-risk, high-reward strategy. I certainly respect it, and man, were they close. That was really, really a valiant effort from Waynesburg there. I respect it. You hold them so long right there. You don't want to give it up. You don't want to play the rest of this map. You tried so hard to keep them on that first point, but you might have just invested too many resources here. Wilkes with the advantage here, just trying to find some more picks. Doing a good job as Brock, just forcing this Mercy out, making them as uncomfortable as possible. Look at how much space they've taken because of those ultimates invested by Waynesburg. They aren't scared of much right now. They are in the driver's seat. 3 ults to none right now. They are on top of the world.
We see Waynesburg finally getting this regroup together here. They've got that high ground to rain down. We see Hanzo beginning to shift around here toward that back line and rain down as well, but Bluehound, Mercy, the damage amplification, then it's Houdini, the Riptire. Jordan can't get away. It's another opening for Wilkes, and again, it's a slow start, but they found their stride late, and they're powering forward.
Yeah, here come the ultimates. This is where they really come in clutch. This is where you're starting to see that Waynesburg error, that little bit of a fault. The nano here, too. This should confirm it. Oh, but this is just what... This is why Waynesburg was so insistent on trying to keep that first point from getting out of hand. Because if you don't, this second point can fall just as easy. You're starting to think maybe if they had those ultimates, it wouldn't have gotten the same way. But regardless, they now have to play on the back foot on this third point, just trying to find their footing once again.
Hindsight can be 20/20 here. They got to focus on what's in front of them, and unfortunately what's in front of them is no tank. Gabs goes down early to Houdini on the Junkrat. Oh my, dangerously low in the background as well, but Brox will get back to safety. The supports will top him off, and now Wilkes again continues to power forward. They haven't found a way to slow them down here. I mean, they did so good in those initial moments in that first point, but now it's been all Wilkes and all pressure.
Yeah, here comes the ultimates. Here they come. Two pot now. A return ultimate. Two ultimates invested for each team here. A support on either side. This is a crucial team fight. The Deadeye can't find anything but the Coalescence. You can't say the same. Finds Jordan on the Genji. The Annihilation comes out and just like it says, annihilates everything in its path. Just truly a masterclass right there from Waynesburg, just holding on to this last point. This is where you want to stop it. You're not in the danger zone quite yet. If you lose one more team fight, you get one last contest. This is huge for Waynesburg, putting up a fight.
Expend 3 ults to find pressure back into it, though. They've still got the one here from Quasar, and it is a better economy, alt economy-wise, than Wilkes, so we'll see if they can make great value from that. They've got that high ground control. Jordan on the Genji looks to rain down and potentially get into the back line to slash the dice, but it's Gabs who finds it with the fist. Jordan able to get the safety, and Mercy doing one heck of a job.
Yeah, I mean, beautiful team coordination right there to use that Ramatra ability, the Ravenous Vortex, just to pull him down and Genji to finish the job. You see the Mercy ult come out to no avail. Here comes the Genji ult. Now they are under some serious pressure. The Nano comes out to save the Sigma. Beautiful play. Just trying to stall this Genji out, but is able to make it out alive. Jordan still continuing to make plays here. You see the Ramatra get rezzed. Waynesburg makes it out of the danger zone.
The danger zone, but for how long? Cavs able to find the pick on Lindy, and now Wilkes finds themselves in a bit of trouble. Brox goes down. There's no tank. 15 seconds on the clock, and I'm not sure if he can get back in time. All they got to do is maybe clean up here, and Jordan looks to pressure forward. Fell will be credited with that pick on the Mega Loot Bags. Cassidy goes down. 4 on the clock, and they've got to dash forward.
Desperation mode right here. The Moira dashing forward, trying to find this ultimate. The Juno ult comes out, just trying to finish these kills as quickly as possible. Moira doesn't go down quite yet. Houdini finding a beautiful kill right there on the Genji, just reducing that pressure on their backline. The Annihilation comes out. They're trying to finish this right now. A double kill from the Sombra. These DPS are putting in work right now. A triple kill. They just flipped this.
Unfortunately, Waynesburg overextended, I think, just a little bit there, trying to make sure they didn't get back to the point, but someone had touched, and then it just seemed like Waynesburg was a little bit disorganized. They were spread out. There was fights going on the front and the back, and Wilkes was just able to capitalize. That overtime fuse is lit, but Waynesburg will have one more opportunity here to try and find a stop, and they open it up with a pick onto the tank. Waynesburg may have just done it. Rise tries to answer back, but Blue Hound will find a pick of their own. Now Jordan, and just like that, Waynesburg looks to close out their first defense here.
Yeah, that first fight there, they expended that Juno ultimate just a little bit too early on that Moira, just trying to eliminate all those possible contests. Honestly, I thought they had it in the bag right there on that fight, making a little more heart-pounding, adding a couple more meters to the tally there is Waynesburg. But still, this doesn't look too bad. I mean, you stop them. You don't have to go to a round 3 here if you don't want to. If you are able just to put the pedal to the floor, just do exactly what Wilkes was able to do, hopefully with a little less contention on that first point, just hammer through that second point, just not even play with those high grounds, just have that ult advantage, just blow right through it. And then this third point, I mean, you see a lot of fighting back and forth. It could go either way, but if this gets to this third point, I mean, Wilkes might start to sweat.
I feel like this first point is going to be the difference maker. We saw Waynesburg really kind of get it to that overtime fuse just on the first point alone. They were able to eat up so much time, but we see Wilkes having more success on that Sigma as well. We saw, I think, a Doomfist near the very end of that that attacking side for them, but for Waynesburg, they have to come out quickly. I'd like to see them with a couple extra minutes by the end of this first point compared to Wilkes.
Now, the person you want to watch right here is Jordan on the Genji. That is the key to their victory right now. That is how they infiltrate that high ground right there. That is going to be crucial in them winning this. Looks like they have a Mercy just for that reason, trying to keep Jordan up and just force their way into this back line of Wilkes and just trying to break this team fight open as soon as it starts. Instantly going for a play here, gets a little too feisty, doesn't wait for that Bastion turret, but they trade out there with another support. And Blue Hound goes down, but this team fight isn't over yet. Ramatra finding his way onto the high ground, saying hello to those above. Cassidy finding himself in some trouble, just barely makes it out alive. And Gavs falls right there. Might get res by the Mercy, but a great job by Wilkes not panicking from this Genji and just still trying to be able to keep this high ground. I spoke too soon, finding a crucial kill on that Ana.
The walk back from the spawn much closer here for Waynesburg, so they should be able to take advantage of that pick onto Ana. We'll see if they can pressure forward. Up on top, Ramatra trying to rain down momentarily. Still nobody around that payload or continuing this push forward, though, as we see Ramatra now trying to maybe get into the back line himself here, looking to throw some fists. Dangerously low is the tank on the other side, but he can't seem to make him fall. Mercy attached to the hip, but it's still standing. Wilkes on the defense, somehow holding on.
What a crucial job by the Wilkes supports right there. That is clutch at its finest. That is exactly what you needed right there at that moment. Just desperation mode, all hands on deck. Save the Sigma. And they were able to complete it. And right now you are seeing the fruits of their labor. That Sigma is alive and well. And he is going to be needed to stop this overbearing Waynesburg.
Oh, that nice pick from Gavs on the Bastion there as well, who got dangerously low. Was the Mercy able to keep him up and still standing? Now Bluehound into that front line, putting in some good damage here towards Sigma. Shots continue to ring out. We hear that Bastion artillery form comes raining down as Bluehound will dash away and get to safety. In the meantime, Jordan finds a pick onto Mega. They've gotten some scattered picks, but they are pressing forward a little bit quicker than Wilkes, but they still need to win another big battle here, and Brox will let the melody sing as he finds one more.
This is where legends are made right here. This is a huge team fight, investing ultimates on either side. Jordan again just carrying Waynesburg through these tough times, just putting the team on their back, saying, I will do it myself. Finding a couple crucial kills here, really trying to turn the tides here and securing that capture on the first point. And look at their time bank. This is night and day in comparison to what Wilkes had.
It is night and day, but for whatever reason, it seems like Wilkes has kind of been that second half team. It's not until things get real down to the nitty gritty that they seem to be that diamond that's created under pressure. So Waynesburg can't get complacent here. They have to continue to power forward and do what's been working for them. And right now, Wilkes looking to control some of this high ground, but Ramatra doing a good job of eating up some of this space and looking to mitigate the damage. I spoke a bit too soon, though. Mega, the high noon, will find him as a big res comes in from Quasar.
And the Mercy trades out right there. It's a nice res, but is it going to be enough? This is what we worried about. Waynesburg was not blessed with the same treatment of having that ultimate investment. You can see the impact. If you couldn't see it last round, this is why. They now have to battle on this high ground. I love the swap that just happened of this Junkrat. They finally found their footing on the second point, and Wilkes is planning on just raining it from above. Just, this is where they make their stand.
Jordan trying to be a nuisance up top here and see if he can create a little bit of a disruption, a distraction for the rest of Waynesburg to power forward, but Waynesburg hasn't been able to knock him off the high ground. We see Bastion still up there raining down as well. Houdini has the ult. Mega finds a pick. Bluehound answers back, but it's Mega first on the Cassidy, now on the Junkrat. Jordan looking to go to town, though. Quasar with a big res onto the support as Jordan continues to flirt with disaster and eventually will be put down.
Yeah, you can see the impacts of that Junkrat early. They were caught off guard, but they finally started to get there. They started to adjust. It might not be enough, but a huge signal here comes in. The Junkrat falls, no longer an option. Sigma getting dangerously low, gets saved by that Moira ult. I mean, this is the nitty-gritty we were just talking about. Wilkes has found their way out of it before, but they haven't seen an annihilation in a fight like this. The Bastional coming out. You have to hold that block in the sleep. A gigantic sleep right there. Turns the tide of the fight. No res to be found. Res Bluehound did Quasar, and that might spell the end of this team fight.
Pound is going to go down here, but 1:40. Waynesburg has given themselves some time to fight here, so again, they just have to regroup. But Bastion on this high ground still has artillery form. You've got Junkrat over here as well, and everything just getting that much more difficult. They're trying to funnel through this tight corridor, and all of a sudden dangerously low yet again. Gavs could be in trouble here. The support's trying to keep him up, but he does go down, and they need to regroup now.
Yeah, the time bank is looking similar to what Wilkes had. This is why this second point is so crucial. You know that Waynesburg was happy not, or excuse me, Wilkes was happy not play on it before, but now they are really feeling the pressure is Waynesburg. And man, this all feels like it goes back to that first point investment. Was it worth it? Because this is what you could have had. And they are feeling it right now.
One thing's for sure is you can never count the Yellow Jackets out until it's over. This team has been fighting with grit and determination throughout the entirety here, but unfortunately they find a brick wall. Houdini, Mega, and now the Riptire to come out. It finds another Blue Hound, goes down to Rise, and Wilkes has control. Waynesburg 25 seconds on the clock, and they are going to struggle to find a last fight territory.
Yeah, this is desperation mode right now. We've seen these pushes before. We've seen them be successful, but this is scary. You can't afford to lose a single soul. And as I say it, 2 fall, 3 fall, 4 fall, and will it be 5? This Junkrat reigning supreme on this high ground might just spell defeat as we zoom out here. What a beautiful defense right there. That is textbook.
Yeah, Wilkes gets it done in 3 here tonight, but if you're Waynesburg, you should hold your head high. You put on one heck of a series, and a lot of these games were incredibly close, coming down to the final moments. As we take a quick look at the play of the game here from Jordan, he was slinging these arrows on that Hanzo. We saw a lot of great plays, a lot of shining moments from Waynesburg, but at the end of the day, just not quite enough to get it done. But if you're ever going to suffer defeat, I always feel like it's great to happen within those first 2 to 3 weeks. You get that defeat, you can work on what went wrong, and look to build toward that rest of that season. So a great, again, a great GG's to Wilkes on getting the job done here tonight. But if you're Waynesburg, hold your heads high because you put on a great performance for us all.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at those highlights of this match, it looks dead even. You might even think that Waynesburg got that win on Junkertown. I mean, they were all flashy in that first round, but when it came down to the nitty-gritty, when it got uncomfortable, those awkward payload team fights, Wilkes on the Ramatra was just able, they were just able to find it when they couldn't. It was just like, there was beautiful execution there. You saw from the Sigma, you saw from all those tank swaps, they were just more adaptable. They were more ready. They were more able. And I think that's what set them apart in this match.
I mean, even the map that Waynesburg won, we had 100 to 99 at one point. You look back to the push bot on Esperanza, and it was Waynesburg that controlled for the entirety of that map. It wasn't until overtime, until the regulation had expired, that Wilkes was able to take the lead right at the end. Excuse me, and get that dub. So, I'm sorry, that was my fault. But yeah, it's just, they put on a great fight. But at the end of the day, Wilkes was the better team here tonight. They'll go to 2-0. They'll remain undefeated. Waynesburg will fall to 1-1, but plenty of time in this season to make up ground. And again, I think just a few minor mistakes that kind of came back to haunt them here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Waynesburg, there's nothing to panic about. A loss in week 2 is not like season ending at all champions will lose games at some point. That's what makes them champions eventually, is working through that adversity, learning what beats you, and just learning how to adapt and overcome, and just learning to be more like Wilkes in this matchup, just learning how to find those uncomfortable wins, those uncomfortable victories. Because when Waynes got what they want, man, it felt like they were unbeatable. But when it got uncomfortable, Wilkes was able to find those advantages, just the little ones. And they've just be able to gotta find those X's and O's. Waynesburg, they're gonna look at that footage and they're gonna get better from this.
Waynesburg has plenty of more games coming up in these Night Owl streams, not just Overwatch, but Rocket League, Super Smash, Valorant, all kinds of titles. So all the more reason to hit that follow button down below. And we do remind you, in just a few weeks, we've got the Land of Steel coming up as well. Saturday, October 18th. From 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern, starting, and the doors open at 8 a.m., excuse me, but that's going to be at the UPMC Event Center. It is free admission, and you can learn more at TECesports.com/Land of Steel. We know Waynesburg is going to be there recruiting as well. I'm going to be there in person, and I hope to see some familiar faces as well. So again, it's free for everybody. Saturday, October 18th. All you got to do is head on down to the UPMC Event Center. Doors open at 8, and it runs until 8 p.m. Eastern at night as well. So again, we appreciate everybody hanging out with us here tonight. Mitwagen, I think this was your first cast. You did a great job. It was absolutely a pleasure to have you in the booth, and hopefully we can have you back here another time. But unfortunately, that is all the time we have here tonight. Before we get going, though, we got to thank everybody here behind the scenes, including the eSport Company and our main man, Nick, not only producing the show, but doing all the observing as well. Of course, Mitwagen, all the teachers, the competitors, and everybody hanging out in chat. We appreciate each and every one of you as well. My name is Hot Sauce, the legend. To my digital right is Mitwagen. You guys have been beautiful. Take care and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Go, you guys.
I'm stuck inside of these walls with you. I don't recognize who I've turned into. I'm losing hope in getting myself back. Everything around me starts